What is up? Welcome to Messing Around Mondays. We have an awesome episode for you today. It's jam-packed, to be honest with you. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. Today we are covering the D23 conference that happened this week, covering all Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars properties, and there is a lot to cover. So we're going to be covering that today. We are going to be covering some fantasy football talk after that near the end. We have some. We already announced that we're trying to combine these episodes and kind of hit a little bit of everything. So we are going to start with that. I know it's fantasy season for a lot of people. I was telling the boys earlier, I think it's time whenever casuals like me jump into the mix and start doing their research. Doing some mock drafts, start pulling up some strategies and things like that. And so I thought, why not hear from some of our pros on the pod itself? Give us a little bit of insight into their brains, where they're looking at some guys. So some fantasy help is coming here on the pod in the future, but also today. So we're starting here. Boys, how we feeling?
Feeling great. Real quick, it's going to be a little tricky because all three of us are in a fantasy league together. Probably the most serious one that we do. I have like close to 10 at this point. I used to only do one, but now everybody's kind of wrapped me into like several different leagues. But this is the one that I pay attention to the most. And we actually draft in person, possibly still in person, trying to figure that out. But I don't know. I'm going to be honest, but then I'm like, is anybody going to take notes, mental notes? Zach's going to snipe me in the third round because he paid attention to my picks here. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited though. How are you doing, Tens?
I'm doing great. It's fun to talk fantasy football with Mason because he is the most guarded guy when it comes to what's in his brain for fantasy football. We tried to do like ad drop segment last season during fantasy, and I feel like I was trying to pull teeth out of Mason because he didn't want to talk about anyone that he likes because I'll go and get them. So it's fun to talk fantasy football with Mason because it's like he's guarding national secrets in his brain. So I was surprised he agreed to do this today. We'll see how much we get out of him. These aren't players that I feel like are on his radar that much that we're going to be talking about because I don't know. So we'll see.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I knew these two guys were a little bit weird about this. So we made a format where I think we're not really giving away too much.
That's true.
I think it's going to be fine. And let's be honest, none of the three of us won our league last year, so I think we're going to be okay.
I'm fine. I'm an open book when it comes to my fantasy football strategies, and
I'm also an open book.
Who
if
I
anyone
like.
wants to ask advice from me.
One of my favorite things.
Snipe me so hard and draft a guy like around early. That's on you.
I'm a really big Christian McCaffrey fan. I'm really high on him, just so you guys know.
One of my favorite memories of doing fantasy draft with Zach was he was sitting right next to me and he leans over and whispers, "Mason, I don't know any of these players on this list right now," and I was laughing so hard because it was just it was funny.
Was late. It was late rounds.
All right,
I don't have as deep of a bag as you guys have for sure. Well, let's do a quick Olympic wrap up. The U.S. did it. Shout out to us. We're back like we never left. We are proclaiming gold. We tied with China for 40 golds, and we have way more total medals. So we're gonna count this as a dub for the big U.S. of A. I will say, did you guys hear about the pole vaulter who gave away the medal?
No, I didn't hear about that pole vaulter, actually.
I care.
No, I didn't hear about that one. I heard about a different one.
Not that pole vaulter, Tins. The new one. He I think it was pole vault. He had a chance to share the gold medal with another guy. And I guess at pole vaulting it's pretty common where because you just keep going until you fail, until they both just kept failing on the same jump. And if you go so long, and they eventually just call it, and they're like, "Hey, do you guys just want to like share the medal?" And both get gold. And my guy was like, "No, we're not doing that." And then
What's
he
the
ended up
point of that?
losing and
Yeah,
getting
what's the
silver.
point of that?
Because I don't know. A lot of people are like, you can't share it. You got to do it for yourself and pride or whatever. I'm like, if we got that gold, we would have won outright. We would have 41.
I
So
did
shout
see
out to
that.
that guy, ruined the U.S.'s outright defeat of communism. So that's where I'm at.
Listen, real quick. Zach cares about three things: his wife, his kid, and having the most. I've never seen someone care so much about this. Like the texts have been blowing up. So passionate. My favorite Zach is the Zach passionate about something random. Like he'll
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden just have on UT baseball and just be shouting at the TV, and I'm like, what? And he's
Yep.
just like, we gotta win this, or the medal count. He
Sure.
has been so zoned in, and
And
he's been
both of the last
passionate.
two things Zach has cared about really passionately, they've now won it all. American
Listen,
Most Gold
True.
facts.
Medals and national champion baseball. So Zach, I hope you don't start caring about the Titans. Stick to the Vols for me.
Something to think about. It's been a long off season for UT football. I think that's what it is. I think I'm priming myself for this football season. I'm ready to give my body for the Vols.
I feel like Zach's gonna have he's going to war every Saturday. UT has a chance to do something here. I feel like, and
I know that Tens has done this for a long time with the Jags. Every game he's locked in, and I've been like this for Tennessee, but I feel something special is cooking up in Knoxville. I'm just going to tell everybody out there. People are excited, and so yes, I have a little bit of I have some expectations, which are dangerous, but a little bit of nervous energy around this football team because we got some big games very early in this season. So this is not a Tennessee football pod, but I think that's where my energy is at. I'm priming myself.
it's good. It's where you want to be. You want to feel something.
I do.
It's
I
what being a
feel
fan.
only hate for Chattanooga. That's Tennessee's first opponent.
It's good. Let it consume you. Every week
It
is
already has.
a new enemy. There are no friends out here. That's where I'm at, where I kind of like, I'm excited for fantasy football to come back, but I'm also just like, I just want to care about the Jags more. There was a long stretch of my life where fantasy football was all I really cared about because the Jags sucked so bad. So now that the roles have reversed a little, I've kind of sucked the last few years of fantasy football. I'll be honest, because I just I've kind of fallen off a little bit.
You split your time.
Because you're drafting Trevor Lawrence in the first round.
I did do that in one league, I think.
It is what it is. Yeah, I understand. Once I got to college, I really started my allegiance and my energies really got lopsided. When I was like in high school and the Titans were pretty good, I was almost 50-50 with like, because UT was very bad and Titans were pretty good at some points and they were fun to watch. But now it's really lopsided towards the Vols again. So good stuff. Okay, we have a lot to cover today, fellas.
Tangent there. My bad.
A little tangent. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, everyone.
We never get off topic ever.
Let's do a 30-second fat to fast. Fat to fast, everybody. I ran 7 miles yesterday.
There you go.
We're recording on Sunday, so
congrats.
I'm moving to 8 next Saturday. We're still pushing our time down. Really aiming for that 10-minute pace for the half marathon. So that's really the end goal in mind. We have 11 weeks until race day, so still almost 3 months. Oh no, almost 4 months. A lot of time. Nope, almost 3. Holy cow! The math. Almost 3 months.
Math is slipping there a little.
So we have plenty of time for training. I'm pretty excited. I think it's going well so far. So there's my Fat to Fast update. I'll continue, but we're coming every day, a little less fat, a little more fast. That's the goal. Day by day. Okay, so we want to talk some D23, everybody?
Yeah, let's get it. Some D23 news.
All right. So
a lot of
D23 was honestly a little bit overwhelming. An enormous amount of stuff is getting announced and is out there. So we're just going to break it down a little bit.
Could you try again?
Oh my
No one's
gosh,
ever
my
talking to
Siri
you,
is
Siri.
freaking out. Holy cow.
Keep that
She did
in.
not want us talking about this. Okay, so D23, we're going to break down Disney, Pixar, Star Wars, and Marvel. So we're going to start off with Disney. We're going to hit every new property or everything that was announced just a little bit. So let's start Disney. Let's start with the one closest to your heart.
Oh boy.
And closest to your household. Moana 2 and Frozen 3 both announced.
Yep.
Soon to become important to my household as well, if I had to guess.
Hey, there's worse movies to get on there. Moana, I'm very excited for Moana 2. It looks like it's going to be action packed. Looks like they're going to fix the one thing I said that was wrong with Moana 1, which was why was Pua the pig not part of the adventure the whole time? Disney does a good job with the animal sidekicks. They picked the wrong one in Moana 1, where they had Hey the chicken. He was lame.
What a joke.
So Pua the pig is out there. So yeah, no, it looks good. I'm excited for
His little sister, right? Little sister? That's the plot?
Little sister is the plot.
Okay.
And then as far as Frozen 3, kind of missed me with that, actually. Kind of falling off on Frozen. They've essentially announced that it's going to be Frozen 3 and 4 because the world opened up too much without explaining what was going on in Frozen 2. So I don't know. It just didn't look that great to me. We're doing too much magic. Like now they're flying into floating cities and stuff. Like, come on. So that's my opinion.
I could see that. I do not have as much of a relationship with either of those properties as you do, but Moana was pretty good. I've seen it at least once. They also had The Rock out there for the live action adaptation.
That's right? True. They're going to have the live action one come out as well, which, I mean, that'll be fun. It'll be fun to see The Rock play Maui in person.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the live action versions. I know we're going to get to a couple other things Disney announced that are live action. I may want to make it official. I don't like any of them.
Wow.
I don't like Disney movies, animated movies turning into live action. I am against it.
Did you know that live action Lion King is like one of the most profitable? Like it made well over $1 billion.
Well, I didn't like it either.
It's crazy.
I was not a huge fan for sure. So speaking of, let's go there. Lion King. It's a prequel. It's called Mufasa. You guys familiar with the plot line here?
Yes.
It's pretty upsetting. I don't really like it. So,
this isn't needed.
Okay, go ahead and explain Mufasa.
It. This is Mufasa was apparently adopted into the tribe, and then something happens to where Scar was the rightful heir to the throne, and Mufasa pushes him out and takes over the throne instead, which is why Scar has such a big grudge against Mufasa. So, well, I don't love this. I don't like it. Why do we have to paint Mufasa as like a bad guy? Or as like a we got to give Scar a backstory that makes him makes us want to feel bad for him.
Yeah,
he killed Mufasa. Spoiler alert for Lion King.
That happened. Listen,
he's
real
a pretty
quick.
bad guy. Yeah,
I didn't know this was a plot. I just saw the trailer and it had like several like white tigers looking, like it had several different characters in it, but I did not know that's what was honestly going to happen. I thought Mufasa was the older one over Scar, so that's what he automatically had reign to the throne.
Well, that's what we think. I mean, that's what they portray in the original Lion King.
Yeah, because he does call him little brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just adopted, I guess. I don't know. I'm not with this. That's not even a thing in lion culture. You don't adopt other male lion cubs into your pride. He would have been killed. So watch National Geographic one time, Disney.
And this is live action as well. So
they should have just kept up with the.
I love it.
Yeah, they should just continued the series like what they did in the cartoon version. Maybe they just wanted something different.
I just don't know how much more Lion King stuff we need. Like, we just
There's
don't.
Lion King I mean, I think the world is cool. I think you could have gone and just created a new story in the world of Lion. Like, why can't we go and chill out with like some other animals or like
Timon and
another?
Pumbaa.
I mean,
Another Lion Pride or something.
there's other things you could do other than saying, "What if Mufasa was a jerk and not as good as we thought he was?"
Right.
Just I don't know. I don't like that too much. Okay, next we have um, maybe the most divisive property on the list. That would be Snow White. Anybody have any Snow White takes, Mason? I saw your face become.
I know. I didn't know. I thought that I forget her name. I apologize, Zach, if you know her name. She was in the
Rachel
Songbird.
Zelger.
Okay, she was in the Hunger
Zegler?
Games.
I
I
don't know.
thought she got kicked to the curb. So then
She
when I
did.
saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, she's in the movie." So I don't know what's going on. That's what
She
the
made
face was. It
headlines.
was confused.
Yeah. So to explain, she made headlines maybe about a year ago when they first were announcing this project and doing a little bit of some press for it. She was pretty. She does not like the original Snow White apparently, and she was kind of throwing some shots at it. And it was kind of like, why are you doing this if you hate it so much? And a
Yeah,
lot of people
exactly.
would it kind of felt like she was just tanking her own project almost. And it was like, why are you doing this? And so she showed up. Gal Gadot is playing the villain here, which I don't know. I think people are still pretty. There's a lot of people who are very down on Rachel Zegler and this movie as a whole. Then you had the whole conversation about the dwarves. Uh, this was one of those weird Twitter things. Did you guys see the Twitter arguments about the dwarves?
Which ones?
They're
Which
they're
Twitter?
not in.
There's a lot of
Was with
them.
Peter Dinklage?
Yes, maybe.
So okay, so
I saw the
apparently,
guy from Little People, A Big World, were also very mad. I saw a video about
okay.
that.
So we're getting into dwarf talk now. I don't know. So Peter Dinklage apparently told Disney he did not think it was a good idea to cast little people in the roles of the dwarves because they don't want to get pigeonholed into those type of roles and just use for those type of things. And so Disney kind of pivoted and just did CGI for all of the dwarves, which looks pretty bad. They're very cartoonish, and if you
Yeah.
watch the trailer, and so a lot of people are like, Peter Dinklage just intentionally tried to make it harder for other little people to get the roles because he wants to be the only little person in Hollywood. There's a whole thing that's deep in the Twitter world there, but um, yeah, this movie is just destined to just be a train wreck.
Straight to
I know
Disney
people
Plus.
keep saying that about these movies and they keep making money, but Pinocchio did not do great, I don't think either.
I didn't
I
even
think
know
this
it
is
was
going to
out.
follow that. I think there's no way. This is very good. People just hate it too much already. So
Yeah.
there's that.
I forgot. Yeah, Pinocchio. Like did it also go straight to Disney Plus? It
I
had
think
Tom
so.
Hanks in it. Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was a major flop as well.
It didn't
Vince is
even
like,
get
I
on my
didn't know this
radar.
existed. Yeah.
I did.
I
Well,
think
there's
it's
a
pretty bad.
reason.
Yeah. Okay. Last property I have here in our Disney section is Zootopia 2.
Yes.
How do we feel?
I like this one. The trailer was good. I liked that they're holding true to like the animals that the characteristics we give animals. They're sharing them in the movie. Like snakes are the main. A snake is the main villain in this one. That's people we find
Checks
snakes
out.
to be evil.
Yeah.
As humans. So I like Zootopia 1.
Me
It's
too.
actually
Very good.
one of Macy's favorite movies. So
Oh.
very excited for this one.
Agree. I like Zootopia.
And it seems like
It
it
kind
still
of
has some of that humor from the first one too.
It's sort of like in that Monsters Inc. like realm where it feels like it's just the world is pretty unique and it's a pretty unique concept and it's very funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it. Mason, do you have Zootopia takes?
I enjoyed the first one. Excited about the second one. I did want to. Is this a good time for me to talk about some of the? You talked about Monsters Inc. Can I
Yeah, do it. Let's get
take
it.
over? Okay. Speaking of Monsters Inc., we were talking about the movies. Now let's go to the Disney World, Disneyland side of things. Zach just brought up Monster Inc. There will be a Monsters Inc. land. The big surprise is that Monsters Inc. Doors Coaster and Metropolis Land are coming to Disney Hollywood Studios. I always thought that the door ride would be such a great idea, and they are bringing that to life. So what do you guys think about
That's
that?
very cool. I've always, every time you watch it, it's almost like it was made for that. So I think that'll be very cool.
For
very
sure.
Cool.
A couple other things. Villains Land is also confirmed. Zach, you brought up a funny YouTube guy earlier, getting emotional over.
People are very excited. There's
Yes.
a lot of people very excited about the park changes.
So I didn't have much on that except for it's just straight up which they do this during Halloween. They go all into the shows are like villain based, and all the villains get together. So this is just like a straight up land that's going to be coming to Walt Disney World, which is in Orlando, focused on all the villains. We're going to get into some Star Wars talk in a minute, but Mandalorian and Baby Yoda ride is coming very similar to the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Huh?
He has a name.
He does have his own name.
Grogu. But it says on it says on here Baby Yoda ride. So sorry. Let's blame whoever. Yeah, let's blame whoever did the news break. Yeah. So have either of you been to the Pandora or Avatar section of Disney World?
No,
I've never been to Disney World.
I've been once, but I was pretty young.
Yeah. Okay, so I went a couple years back, and it is like you were in that world. They are bringing the Pandora and Avatar ride to Disneyland in California. Another one, we're getting a couple Cars rides in Magic Kingdom. A first ever Coco ride, Indiana Jones, and then Encanto ride. So I just wanted to speed through those, and y'all can give your final properties,
thoughts. Huh?
Yeah. So Encanto, Indiana Jones, and Coco, and Cars. So there you go. A lot of ride announcements.
That is pretty interesting. That's a lot of new rides.
They're taking out some of the outdated stuff. Yeah, I think I saw a lot of Animal Kingdom, like the old dinosaur, some of those outdated, which I've been on before, and it's very nostalgic, but it's just
that's my Bugs Life stuff back in the day.
Yeah, it's like 90s vibe, and they're replacing all that with all this. So there you go.
Out with the old, us in with the new. We wouldn't be allowed to be a ride in the park anymore. We're too old.
True. Very true. Speaking of Avatar, they also had a big Avatar announcement.
Yes.
From what I heard, they didn't actually show us much, but they did announce the name of the new one. It's going to be Fire and Ash Avatar 3.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't. I mean, it's kind of a cool concept because seeing the fire part of Pandora is going to be pretty dope. It's just going to look cool. Visually, I don't know. The storytelling wise, plot wise, it's going to be the same probably. But it is what it is. Tins, you don't like the Avatar properties?
I think I think it was just the years and years of hype of Avatar 2 is coming, and then it took so long that my natural reaction is I don't care anymore. I don't want to hear about Avatar ever again.
I never even seen the second one.
It's fine. It's visually, it's very good, but like Zach said, storytelling wise, it's not.
It's whatever.
It's whatever. It's been done before. All these, I don't know. I just when I saw the first one, amazing. But you want to know what? I was in the 7th grade, and then so
that's you were not in the 7th grade.
Was I maybe not? 8th grade, 9th grade, maybe.
When did it come out?
I'm pretty sure I just started. No, I'm pretty sure I was in high school.
The first one, because me and some dumb friends stayed up all night and then went to the movies to see it, and I fell asleep in the middle.
Could be
2009.
Yeah, my freshman year. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So not 7th grade, but I was.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Freshman in high school, and then
that's earlier than I thought it was.
Yeah, and then the second one came out. I'm very much older than that, so I'm just over the Avatar world.
It's fair. That's fair.
I think what would get you back in is if you went to the actual park. You feel like you're in a totally different world. Like, I'm not even kidding. They have the floating like land pieces. It is so in depth. The rides are like, you feel like you're flying on
I'm
a
not a ride
Banshee.
guy.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the thing.
no,
I don't like
this one's
rides.
not bad though. You just sit on this like thing that feels like the Banshee, like you can feel it breathing, and then there's just a screen in front
I
of
don't
you.
want to
It's
sit
not
on a
like a roller
Banshee.
coaster. Well, it's still pretty
Avatar.
cool.
This is now. I'm not speaking directly to James Cameron. You want some really good publicity? Spend a couple thousand of your hundreds of $1 million budget. Send us to the park, and we'll
There you
see if we
go.
can turn Tens into a believer.
There we
Love
go.
it.
You
Okay,
can get a whole series trying to turn haters into fans.
that's a pretty good
Couple
idea.
$1,000. That's all it
Free
right,
idea
next.
for you, Disney.
Pixar. We have a couple of new properties, a couple of sequels, a lot of sequels. We'll maybe just spend just a little bit of time on these. So we have Incredibles 3 and Toy Story 5. Incredibles 3, Toy Story 5. How do we feel about those two movies?
I'm decently excited for Incredibles 3. I didn't really love 2. I feel like they kind of got away from 1 in a way where it's just like, I don't know, it just felt weird. Less superhero-y.
Yeah.
And then Toy Story 5, I'm sorry, who asked for this? Nobody. And why is
iPad
Woody
kid.
back? Yeah, like we Woody said his goodbye. Like, we did the whole thing, and then now he's back. Like, come on, man. Like, give Tom Hanks and Tim Allen a break. They've got to be tired of doing these lines.
They should have started at 3 to be 100%.
The ending.
Yes.
I think it was originally supposed to stop at 3. The toy. So I've seen this before. The toy market is insane. I think they do the best out of money wise out of any Disney movie or Pixar ever. I think Cars was a close second, but the toy market, and so they're just like, even if the numbers are meh, they probably make like in the insane amount, like the most money out of anything ever
money,
with the
for
toys.
Sure. I mean, that's why I do it. It's going to make a lot of money.
It should have ended at 3. I think we all agree with this. I was not a fan of 4. Spoiler alert to anybody. He preaches everybody always sticking together. Let's stick together. And then he's the one that just is like, he leaves them to be a carny. So how are we going to get them all back together is what I'm wondering. Like, how is this going to work? Unless it's just a separate like Bo Peep and Woody type situation. I don't know. Or they do separate storylines.
Toy Story 4.
Did you not see the?
You seem locked in.
Huh?
There's
you seem locked into the Toy Story
you're
world.
very locked in.
Locked in
you
here.
Hear a lot about the plot of Toy Story 4.
I did not see it. What was I supposed to see, Tins? Was there a trailer out for this? I just saw that drop.
I saw.
Oh,
Did you see the plot for 5? Is they are back together. It's like Woody is back. They're also battling like 50 malfunctioned Buzz Lightyears.
Heck yeah.
Okay, no, I did see something like this.
It's like Deadpool.
What
Deadpool.
does that? What does that even mean? What do we mean? 50? What are we doing?
The multiverse.
I
don't know. I don't get it.
I'm sure I'll see it. It'll be on Disney Plus eventually, and I'll watch it.
You'll definitely see it. Yeah,
but I'm
We'll
over it. I'm over
Is it okay? Could this just be us getting old and just being like, listen, just stop with the? Are you sure it's not? Because all of us are. Me and Tens are in our 30s, and Zach's almost there, and we're all just griping about the new stuff. Like, get off my lawn.
How many properties have gone to the 5th movie and have actually been good?
But like, I bet you kids, I bet if we asked a ton of kids that this is actually geared towards, they would probably be all about this. Even though it's also geared towards us because this is our childhood stuff. It's almost like they're just trying to keep roping us back in with like our future kids that we have to take to the movies with us. I don't know. I feel like that's why they keep making them. They'll probably just continue this whole bit because they get best of both worlds.
Yep.
But I feel like we are the get off my lawn old men right now screaming about
we're not
Disney.
The only ones.
No, we're not.
It's fine. It does feel so. These are safe picks, right? These are going to sell tickets. People are going to go watch these. Inside Out 2 was a proof of concept there. Inside Out 2 went crazy. Sold all kinds of tickets.
It was good
in a pretty down movie year to that point. So they do have an original story coming from Pixar called Hoppers. This is much riskier.
I didn't see this.
Are you guys familiar?
No,
You
I
didn't
missed
see
No.
it?
this. Mm-mm.
Okay, so I have the synopsis for you. This has been the one that's maybe been the most talked about because it's the most interesting sounding. All we have is a screenshot, I think, of like a picture, like concept image. It says the film follows a girl who transfers her mind into a robot beaver to infiltrate their animal kingdom.
Hmm.
I think John Hamm plays like a mayor of a town who's I'm guessing, trying to get rid of like a beaver colony, and this girl transfers her mind into a robot beaver to join the colony to like rise up, is kind of what I'm assuming the plot is.
Okay.
That's
Yes,
interesting.
I missed yeah. I listened to that recap you sent earlier, and when he started talking about this, I was just kind of, it blocked it from my brain because I'm like, what are we talking about? And then because I remember John Hamm is the villain of the
Yep.
movie. Yeah, no, that's a terrible idea. That one should have been left on the creating room floor. Some intern is getting fired.
Here's my hot take. It's gonna be good.
Ooh.
Wow. Also, I love the
Think about all the weird Pixar concepts that have worked. We had
like
a
what?
rat working in a kitchen, literally puppeting a human to cook things with. We have
Okay.
toys who can talk. We have cars that can talk. We have monsters who collect screams for power. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
most Pixar movies at their face sound like weird ideas.
I'll give you
And then
that.
you watch them and you're like, oh, okay, I like that was fun. Like even Inside Out is like there's characters in a brain that are talking to each other. You know,
I love
Okay.
the fact that Tinsley thinks that an intern is losing his job, and an intern was the one that came up with this movie, and they're going
I
with
just like
it.
I just like saying that joke. The people do that on social media, like a lot of sports teams. Like if someone tweets something out and they're like, "Sorry, the intern did that, and he is now fired."
yeah. I mean the fact that they went is if they're announcing it, it's happening because it got through a ton of different levels of people to get to there. So it's pretty wild stuff. Okay, we're ready to move into Star Wars Marvel world.
Let's do
hit
it.
Okay, Star Wars. Let's start off. Let's start off here with what we know least about, probably Mandalorian and Grogu. It's at least in production. Pedro is obviously off in Fantastic Four land right now, so who knows how much he's actually filming yet. Grogu is a puppet, so he is available all the time. How do we feel about this movie?
I'm mad that the Razor Crest is somehow returning.
Somehow the Razor Crest returns.
Because last time I checked, we blew that sucker up.
Yep. So how's that happen?
Rebuilt it from scratch.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Great
We were
question.
talking about things that are very successful and they just continue with, like, this was the series that everybody was getting Disney Plus for. And then they were like, "Oh, let's not put all of it out at once. Let's do one at a time for each week because we got to keep those subscribers around." So it's like one of those things. I honestly know a majority of everybody that had it was their main reason was because of this series. So it kind of makes sense for me. I'm here for it. Why not? It's got to be knock your socks off for me.
Mason has a high bar these days.
Like what villain are we? Did it talk about what villain we're gonna have?
I think we know shockingly little about what's happening.
Yeah, okay. I kind of thought so.
Is that true? I don't think
Yeah.
they release very little about plot or anything.
Okay. What do you think,
Okay.
Tens?
Tens?
I'm ready to get into a new
Universe?
world of Star Wars. Yeah, I'm not very much invested in Grogu anymore. I just don't
Tens hates Grogu.
care. It's not that I hate Grogu. I'm just ready for the new Jedis. I'm ready for the new Jedi training and the new Jedi Council and rebuilding the whole Jedi Order. I'm kind of over all the prequel stuff. Like, I'm done with this time gap of the last movie to Rey's Jedi Order getting started. Like, let's just do that, or let's go, or we stay in the world of Acolyte and we talk about pre Skywalker universe. Like, I want one or the other. I'm just tired of this world in the middle.
Well, for another series set directly in the middle, we have Andor season 2 coming out. Smack dab in the middle of the story. Andor, obviously a huge success.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people liked it. A lot of people who hated a lot of the other Star Wars stuff really liked this show. We don't know a ton about it yet. We know it's going to take place over 4 years, and every 3 episodes there will be a 1-year time jump. We know Ben Mendelsohn is returning as Director Krennic, which is a pretty big deal. That was a big time character. Forrest Whitaker also returning as Saw Gerrera. It's coming out in 2025, so next year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people really like this show. I like this show a lot.
Love this show.
Despite 10 saying you didn't want anything else from this time period. Here it is.
I mean, yeah, it's a good show.
People want different things. I understand where you're coming from.
Everything's just so connected back to what we already know. And so that's why I'm just kind of like, all right, let's do something new. Like, everyone wants to complain about Star Wars, and I don't get all the hate Star Wars gets. So let's just do something new. That's where I'm at.
All right, I think that's fair.
But
so speaking of something new, there's one other piece here. Skeleton Crew. I don't know a ton about this. You guys might know more than me. I know it's kind of set in a style similar to Stranger Things or The Goonies. It's a group of kids who go out on an adventure. They cross the galaxy, whatever. They end up meeting Jude Law, apparently, at some point, who is a Jedi, presumably. Do you guys know more than me about this? Do you guys excited about this?
I think
your take.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
So Jude Law, big fan. His stuff is good. Like, yeah, I think I'm excited. I don't know much about it besides what you just told me, and everybody's giving me some bad rap for not enjoying it because of there being kid actors in it, which is not true, which is false.
Mason hates kid actors.
You do famously hate kid actors.
Never said that ever.
You have. I think you have said that on this pod before.
Go back and find the tape.
I'll find it.
We'll get a new intern to scope every episode and find you saying
scrub the episodes.
Yeah.
You definitely complained about young Leia a lot.
Yeah. She just got him in trouble all the time. That's what
kids do.
Yeah, I guess. Okay,
February 23rd, 2024. Which one is worse, actor or actress? Prince Leia as a kid or Aang in the Netflix series?
Who said that? I've been framed.
You did. September 16th, 2022. Your brother asked you, is it because it's a kid actor, Mason? In another conversation where you say 5 seasons is too long. There, I said it when we were talking about Cobra Kai.
Oh.
Agree.
And Matthias asked you why, because it has kid actors in it.
Got him.
Zach agreed.
So this isn't
I agree that 5 seasons was too long. I checked out on that one a good bit before.
Thank you, everybody. No, you got me there, Tins. Okay. Listen, back to Skeleton Crew. I'll give it a chance. Why not?
He's gonna give it a chance, everybody.
Okay, wow. Thank you.
Very brave of you, Mason.
Appreciate
for the pod.
For the pod.
No, it may be bad. I don't know. It could be bad. I'm hoping it's good. I'm all in on another good Star Wars property that everyone can be like. I miss the days when it was like Mandalorian. Everyone loved Mandalorian, and then Andor, and everybody was like, Andor is awesome. You know, back when we were a country. Back before Ahsoka and Acolyte and all the stuff people are very mid on now. And back before
What
the
was the other
Obi-Wan
one?
show
Boba Fett?
and Boba Fett and all this. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on the Star Wars front,
They should
everybody?
do a Chewbacca world. Like, go to Chewbacca's planet.
I'll watch that.
Thank you.
Love
And they all
Chewbacca.
just talk like they all.
What if they
They
were
don't
kid
do any
Chewbacca,
translation.
though?
Yeah, what about Kid Chewbacca?
Never mind.
A plucky kid Chewbacca. You'd hate that.
See him and
But
Kid
they all just-
Han Solo growing up together. All their mischief.
They all just talk in Chewbacca language, so we don't know what's going on.
It'll
You
be
have to
electric.
figure out what's happening. It'll be electric.
No dialogue.
All right,
You just have
let's
to-
send this in. We only want
Okay.
$20 million for our idea. Okay, go ahead, Zach. Sorry, we got more.
Chewbacca world. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up with Marvel. Marvel. Okay, let's start here. A property that none of us really knew if it was ever actually going to happen is apparently happening. That would be
Okay.
Ironheart.
Mm-hmm.
Is happening apparently. So it's pretty sick. Any thoughts on Ironheart? Anyone?
Yeah.
Any
I give
takes?
it a medium meh.
Okay, agree. Mason, takes?
Can we go in depth for how much details do we have for our audience on what
On Ironheart,
Yeah,
not much.
Not much. Yeah, that's the other thing. I just don't know much about it.
I know
It's
this
still
character,
go ahead.
Riri from Wakanda Forever, is in it. She's taking on kind of some of the Iron Man piece. She's trying to build a suit. I know that Anthony Ramos is in this, who has been in a lot of stuff lately. He's actually been kind of big. He was in, he was in the Twisters movie. He was also in Hamilton. That's kind of how I first known him. But he is in the movie, apparently. That's all I really know. I don't know. Pretty much it. Okay, so a couple properties we know more about. Fantastic Four is filming. We saw the cast in their costumes. They are officially deep into production, so they cannot be at D23. But they released some of the music, I think. You guys excited about this?
Yeah, I'm very excited just because I think it's going to be a big building block for the next phase of Avengers, Marvel, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I hope they nail it because I'm a big fan of the original Fantastic Four.
The last one that came out with Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. Yeah.
No, the other one.
Oh, okay.
Very much the other one.
I agree. I like
one.
Fantastic Four a lot.
I'm here for it.
I'm excited. I think it's gonna be good. Yeah. Okay. Next, Agatha All Along. We got a full trailer for. There's only a couple of properties we actually got full trailers for. Catherine Hahn. We saw that Aubrey Plaza is in this from Parks and Rec fame. She's been in a lot of stuff lately, actually. It looks like she lost her power, so she's creating a coven of witches to go on some kind of journey to maybe get powers back or whatever. She's singing in the trailer, which is whatever. I don't know. They're trying pretty hard. It's going to come out during Halloween, which I think will help it. It's got a very kind of Halloween-y feel. It's coming out pretty soon, so that means it's coming out, and that was the most. That's of all these, it's the one coming out the most closest to now.
Yeah.
Wow, words.
They're hard.
Words are hard. So, are either of you guys gonna lock into this one?
I'm gonna watch it.
Yep. I'll probably watch it.
We'll see if I like it. Probably not.
It's up in the air. Catherine Hahn she's very funny.
Yeah.
And Aubrey Plaza is funny too. They might lean, if they lean into the comedy thing and they kind of make it could be funny.
Yeah, it could be funny.
That's kind of what I hope. I hope they don't, if they try to take it really seriously, I think it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. But it is in the WandaVision universe, right? Like that's and that's a more serious character. So that I feel like they are going to try to be pretty serious. So I'm a little nervous.
Could be for sure.
That's where I'm just like, oh no, do we have to do this? Like,
yeah, they kind of announced it really early, and I feel like it's been so long since WandaVision came out that people don't care anymore, which is a problem.
Is this going to be? Yeah. Is this going to open back the story of Scarlet Witch and Vision? Like, there has to be a reason for all this, right? It's not just going to be its own like one and done, like no reason to watch it, like. Why am I invested in this? Is this going to open up a storyline that brings a character back in? Like
Oh,
with Doctor Strange Multiverse, we ended with Scarlet Witch, and we've not seen anything since. So I'm like, is this going to bring her back in? Vision's going to have to be brought back in. Like, there's going to be a different version of him. Spoiler alert for anybody out there. There's like
spoiler.
apparently White Vision. So there's like all, which was at the end of um, WandaVision. So I'm trying to see what's going to happen. Like, there's got to be a reason for this. Like, we're going to bring back characters, is what I'm wondering.
I think there's a pretty serious question about the TV show of it all. I think Marvel has started being really careful about their TV shows and not doing anything too important in them because not a lot of people are watching them.
Watching them.
And so I think they're not going to do anything super consequential in a TV show because if you don't watch it, then you're not going to know what's happening. I think they tried to lean into the TV show thing and weave it into the main storyline. And I think it went pretty poorly because a lot of the TV shows people didn't like very much. So we'll see. It may very well be standalone though. Okay, last property here on the Marvel list is Daredevil. They have we saw a leaked trailer of this. How do we feel about Daredevil?
Very, very excited. We've got I can't ever remember how to say his last name, but John is back as Punisher. So this is a TV show I was a big fan of. I was sad when it got canceled on Netflix, and then Disney said they weren't going to renew it, and then they did bring it. Then they did they do own it, where they like you can watch the old one, but they weren't going to renew it. So I'm very, very excited for this. I think he's going to play a role in the new Marvel universe because he is friends with Spider-Man.
He was in No Way Home, right?
Yeah. That was more a cameo. Yeah, it was a cameo. But I do feel like Daredevil will be part of maybe that new Spider-Man 4 movie. Who knows?
Could be.
So
I did not watch any of the series, but it intrigues me to want to go back and watch it and see if it's worth, like, if it keeps my interest, then I would be super hyped about the movie. So
yeah, I think you'd like it. Yeah. So, but yeah, I was just so yeah, I'm gonna call my shot now. I think he ends up in Spider-Man 4.
Okay.
Mason, I think you would like Daredevil. I think you should lock into the series.
Lock in.
Especially the first 2 seasons were very good. I think the third season was kind of mid. Is that right?
The third. Yeah, I think so.
How many total
Punisher
seasons
also very good.
I think it was just 3.
I think that's right.
I think I can do that.
That's when Disney bought the rights to all those characters.
Yeah, 3 seasons. The first 2 seasons are really good. I mean, the third season was not bad either. I think you would like it. It'll help with the Kingpin thing because he's in a lot of the TV show too, the original one. Okay. Are we ready to move on to a little bit of football today?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Let's do a little football.
All right. So we're going to play a game today with Tins and Mason primarily. I'm going to be learning along with all of you, so I'm just going to be letting them cook here. We are going to play a game called Would You Rather. The premise of the game is just to ask a couple of questions of a couple of players who are rated similarly by ESPN to finish in fantasy points. We know that fantasy points do not equate to better players all the time, so we're talking about fantasy here. But also about how you think their season's going to go. So you guys can go however you want with this. I'm just going to give you 2 players, and you can just tell me if you had the choice between the two, if a pick came to you, which one would you rather have on your roster? Okay. So we'll start off at quarterback. We have an AFC South matchup here. We've got CJ Stroud versus Anthony Richardson. Tins, we know you have some personal feelings about CJ Stroud, maybe and Anthony Richardson. Which one, if it came to you, which one would you rather have on your fantasy team?
All right. Just for the record, I would not have either one of these guys on my fantasy team. I have a strict rule. I don't draft division rivals on my fantasy team.
That's fair.
Every man has to have a code. It's in my code. But if we're talking about who I'd rather have, this one is actually very tough because Anthony Richardson has all the potential to be an electric fantasy football quarterback with his running ability. Even in 4 games last year, I think he had like 5 rushing touchdowns, threw for a couple more. I mean, he's got the stats, but you have to worry about injuries with him because in 4 of his 5 career starts, he came out of the game with an injury, concussion, and then we obviously know he broke his wrist or hurt his wrist and then had the shoulder surgery. So a lot of injuries piled up. So I'm pretty cautious when it comes to running quarterbacks in fantasy. So I'm going to lean CJ here just because I think he's a little bit safer injury wise. There's nothing worse than losing your quarterback to an injury for the year because you're not going to find a good enough replacement on like a free agent. So I'd go CJ.
Okay, Mason.
All right. So with that being said, from week 9 on last season, Stroud threw 4 300-yard touchdown games, 14 touchdowns in just 8 games. Most of these games were without Tank Dell, which they will have back, and with Stephon Diggs. Oh, you picked the same player as me. Why are you mocking me right now?
I'm not mocking you. I'm mocking the stats.
Okay.
Go
Here's
look
the
at
thing.
schedule.
Anthony Richardson, he threw 3 touchdowns, ran for 2 and 2 full games. Here's what I'm most concerned about. He just played 4 games last season, 2 of which he played less than 35% of total snaps. I'm worried about the injury bug, and I'm just worried about until we see him play. If he goes through this whole season and plays like what we saw in that small little snippet, then maybe the season after he might be on my radar. But I'm going to go CJ Stroud.
Okay. Interesting. Worried about injuries. I think Anthony Richardson could be a guy who kind of like is a sneaky pick and has a really good season.
Sneaky.
Not sneaky.
No, he's like
sneaking him in.
He's like one of the top 5 quarterbacks off most fantasy drafts.
Wow.
People are saying what me and Mason
top
are saying.
5?
Yeah.
That's wild.
He's going early and often.
Who are the other 4 in the top 5 then?
Josh, Patrick, Lamar, and probably CJ, if I had to guess. I've been in some mock drafts where Anthony Richardson's going in the first like 3 rounds, which is high for a quarterback. Quarterback's also weird because me and Mason don't draft quarterbacks early. We're pretty strict about like round 10. Give me Matthew Stafford.
Unless you're reaching for Trevor Lawrence.
True.
Yeah. I always end up having to take him early because I feel like someone in the league is going to take him, so I draft or trade my whole team to him. But that's not what we're talking. Trevor Lawrence isn't on the list.
Okay, fine. He's on the list. Tins has been known to do that, though. Our league knows that he will pay anything for him, so people like to just use him as leverage. Okay.
Yep.
So next, let's move on. Let's move to running back. We have Breece Hall versus Bijan Robinson. Mason, I'm gonna let you cook first. What do you got?
Okay, so with Breece Hall, he had 994 yards, 5 touchdowns. He had on average third most fantasy points from week 5 on last season. Once he started seeing full snaps from return from his ACL surgery. Here's the thing. I want to give a little bit of both. When it comes to Bijan Robinson, I feel like he's in a setup for a better offense success. And what a lot of people were knocking on his fantasy for last year is that he wasn't being used in the offense. They had a lot of Cordell Patterson. What was the other guy? Other running back. Yes, Tyler Algier. So, and of course, coaches say things, but I did find something right when the Raheem Morris became the new head coach. He said on his plan for Bijan Robinson, get the ball to Bijan as much as we can, as many ideal situations as possible. Offensive coordinator said Bijan's such a talented player. He's going to play running back first and foremost, and then in any way to find creative ways to get him the ball like the Niners do Christian McCaffrey is exactly right. So I have more hopes for Kirk Cousins this offense, and if they do what they say, I feel better, more confident with that than the Jets offense.
Yep, no, I completely agree. Brees Hall is a good player. He's got good home run hitting ability where he could take a carry from anywhere and score a touchdown. I mean, Brees Hall is a good player. He has, even outside of the ACL injury though, he's had a few nicks and bruises and missed some time. So that's another ding to me where I don't like running backs that miss time with hamstring injuries and ankle injuries because those are reoccurring things. So that he's a stay away from me. He's also behind a very bad offensive line, so I'm not going to trust the Jets offensive line. And their focal point is going to be Aaron Rodgers and passing the ball. And if something happens to Aaron, then it's going to be obvious that they're going to run. And so I just don't think he's definitely not worth right now where he's getting drafted, which is top 5 pick. I love Bijan Robinson. I'm heavily invested in him in some best ball leagues that I've joined this offseason. Echo all the same stuff Mason said. The offensive coordinator and head coach said, let's give him the ball. They come from the McVay and Shanahan tree of coaching. So you could see where he's going to get used like Christian McCaffrey did or Todd Gurley did in those systems where gets a lot of catches, but also runs the ball a lot. And they have a good offensive line.
This is why I hate drafting next to 10s, because we literally think the same, do some of the same research. Sometimes it's nice because you can talk to Tinsley about this and he agrees and I don't have to bicker with him about fantasy, but sometimes I hate it because we fight over the same players. So there you go ahead, Zach. Next players.
No, it's great. Okay, next we have a wide receiver matchup. We've got Justin Jefferson versus Amon. I always mess up the first name. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Sorry. Tens. What do you got? Heavy hitters.
Yeah, these are two great players. I had the privilege of having Amon-Ra St. Brown on a lot of teams last year, so I was very, very happy. I got him like in the third or second round in most drafts. It's not happening anymore. He is a first round guy, and he's going to be for a long time. Number one wide receiver. He can do everything. He can catch it deep. He can do middle of the field, short game. PPR machine. I think he averages over 10 targets a game. But then there's Justin Jefferson, who might be the best wide receiver in the league. Honestly, this is of the whole list we had. This is a coin flip. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. I would say maybe I'd value St. Brown a little bit better just because his quarterback situation is a little bit more stable. The Vikings are going in with Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy at starting quarterback, and so I just don't love that either way. For your receiver one that you're probably going to have to take in the top 7 picks to get either one of these guys. So I'm going to go with the guy who's played with the same quarterback now for 3 years.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown last season, 1,500 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns, finishing overall wide receiver 3. What's going to change, really? He's going to continue to be a target machine. Same offense that got through the playoffs. A lot changed with the Vikings. So I feel like the quarterback situation, did they change offensive coordinator? I had to go back and look. Change any of the coaching
their
stuff.
Their head coach is their offensive
head coach.
Okay.
For
the Vikings.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering. So Justin Jefferson did have that injury last season, so it's hard to compare the last season with Amon-Ra, but I feel a little more confident. If you had to talk about just like who's better athlete and wide receiver, but when it comes to fantasy production, I'm gonna have to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
All right,
we've agreed so far.
I know. We might be different right here. Okay,
Okay.
lastly, we're going to wrap this up with a tight end. We have Sam Laporta versus Travis Kelsey. Travis
Okay.
Kelsey been around a long time. So, Taylor Swift effect, essentially. Mason, who you got here? Who you taking?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he's going to pick here. The only reason I said this earlier, I'm not going to go away from a player until I see something change with them. Why, especially with the wide receiver problems, we got the whole Rashid Rice issue. We have the whole what's gonna happen with Marquise Brown got hurt, right? So it's
Yeah, he
like,
separated his shoulder last night against the Jags.
okay,
He's
I think he should be
supposedly not going to miss
fine.
any time. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. And time again, I'm like, why didn't I bet anytime touchdown on Travis Kelsey? And when it comes to tight ends, it's a very heavy touchdown dependent, which Sam Laporta can get there too, but there's a little more. You got Gibbs, you got, we just talked about him, Mara St. Brown. We have some of the other targets that it gets dispersed. I feel like you literally have like one target, especially last year. The wide receiver was a little more messy. I feel like they improved a little bit more, but I'm going to go with Travis Kelsey until I know that he's getting up in age, but I could see this possibly being his last season. He's really going to go out with a bang, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, all right, good. So we finally disagreed on one.
There we
Travis
go.
Kelsey, obviously he's great. He's a Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer. If you have drafted him over the years in fantasy since Patrick Mahomes took over, especially, you've been very happy. I had him on my team last year. Fun fact, I had both these guys on my team. I dropped Sam Laporta before the season started because I had too many players, and had to drop someone because Travis Kelsey was injured, and I didn't know if I wanted to trust Sam Laporta, rookie tight end, yet. Boy,
I'm
was
pretty
that stupid.
sure I didn't draft a tight end and I picked him up before the season started, or I
Yeah.
drafted somebody really bad because he was on
So
my team.
yeah. So the only reason I'd go with Sam Laporta here is because you're talking about a high powered offense with lots of weapons, but he quickly became Jared Goff's like safety blanket as far as intermediate throws, third down and medium, a lot of catches, a lot of targets. That's what you want to look for in a tight end. And he had some run after the catch ability as well. I'd like to see his touchdowns go up a little bit this year. I think he will.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see as much David Montgomery stealing all the red zone touchdowns as much. I think you'll see them pass a little bit more with Gibbs and Laporta. The only reason I'm really kind of steering away from Travis Kelsey is just because of all the comments that Andy Reid has made, Travis Kelsey himself has made about his playing time throughout the year. They say they're really going to try and manage his snaps, keep him fresh for the playoffs where they know they need him, because he has talked about this might be his last year, or he's a year or two maybe left. He's getting older. He's played a lot. And so I just don't think he's going to be on the field as often. They invested in tight end in the draft, so someone to kind of play that Travis Kelsey role a little bit more. So if we're talking about fantasy and he's going to play a little bit less, then I don't want to, because where you're having the draft, Travis Kelsey is still pretty high.
Yeah.
So I think in this case, I'd go with the younger guy on a high-powered offense. I'd go Sam Laporta.
Okay. Are we doing kickers next? Would you rather
Oh, yeah.
kickers?
Kickers. Here we go. No, I think that's really good information. I think that's really fun. I think you guys crushed it. I'm excited for some fantasy stuff to start coming back around.
Yeah, it's the
We're gonna try and
fantasy
hit a little
draft
bit from here,
fun.
between here and the beginning of the season for sure.
A couple little mock drafts.
Yeah.
Ready for it.
Okay. Well, that wraps up our Monday episode today. We will see you back here on Friday for our. We're going to wrap up some futures. Well, not wrap up. We're going to hit some more futures. We have SEC preview, things like that. We have some more NFL futures coming at you. So we got a lot of content still. Football season is around the corner, so stay locked in here with us. We have all of the content for you. Be with us on TikTok. TikTok has been, we've really been pushing that harder. So go check out our TikTok account. We put a lot of content on there. Twitter, Instagram, we're everywhere. Check us out. We hope you guys have a good week. We will see you on Friday.